In this episode, day one of our 2021 cruise. Join us as we travel from Ivy Lee to Aubrey Island. Welcome aboard. It's Sunday morning, and the start of our cruising adventure. And what a beautiful morning it was. Not a wisp of wind, but those clouds in the background should have given us an indication of what it was going to be like later on. But what a beautiful, still morning. We were well stocked, plenty of fresh water, lots of food, lots of beverages, some of the adult variety, and we were just going to go out and explore. And the swans came back to our little bay. Just so beautiful. Usually for the last while, it'd just been filled with geese and more geese. So it was nice to see them coming back.
Out just because of the wind. That's off, that's off. Engines are running. Okay, yep. Okay, if you can. Okay, so. Okay, I'm backing up now. Thanks, guys.
And we're off. There was quite a bit of wind, and of course coming in from the starboard side. You can tell from the burgee just how that wind's flowing and fluttering. So I put a little bit more juice onto the port side for reverse, just to bring us out a little straighter. And saying goodbye to our friends Gilles and Brian, who were kind enough to help us off the dock. And with that turn to starboard, we are going right into the wind and fighting the current. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means there's a lot more resistance to the boat moving forward. We've got the current against us, and well, you may have noticed the boat's kind of big, and with the wind can act like a big sail. So we've got that. The engines are working a little bit harder as a result. One thing I found in terms of piloting was the wind would catch the bow or catch the stern, and it would tend to push the bow off the course I had set. So if I looked around for a few seconds and came back, quite often I wasn't pointing in quite the direction or on quite the bearing that I thought I was. And Jacqueline was really good for keeping me honest on that. One of the things we did notice, of course, with a lot of wind, is the temperature dropped. So it was getting a little cold and I needed my hoodie. And with the extra noise, it just made Chloe that much more nervous. So she stayed pretty close to our feet throughout the entire trip. That town that you can see is called Gananoque. Now, nestled in the heart of the Thousand Islands, Gananoque is an internationally renowned destination for tourists. Its scenic beauty, recreational diversity, and cultural activities make it your number one choice for spending time in the magnificent Thousand Islands. Inhabitants as well as tourists from around the world come to our community to fish, sail, camp, golf, scuba dive, cycle, hike, canoe, paint, and photograph the wild beauty of the St. Lawrence River and the area. And that's right from the Gananoque website. We really enjoy it because it's got great restaurants, it's beautiful, it's scenic, the marina is large and has great facilities, and we've got some good friends who live there. As we were cruising by, in one of the condos, we have a couple that just moved in, a couple of friends of ours. And so we texted back and forth so that they could wave to us as we cruised by and we could wave to them. Of course, they couldn't see us, so I hit the horn a couple of times. What you can see is that with a little bit more open water, we're getting a lot more whitecaps, and the wind really picked up. I was a little bit worried about the kayak, to be honest. It was only really set up with a couple of bungee cords and an attachment to the anchor chain, but it held pretty well. Hey, we're on Aubrey Island. Obviously, Jack and Chloe. Chloe is just happy that she is on terra firma. So behind me is Beau Rivage. I tried to dock there and we backed out. The water was just way too shallow. There were points where what it's reading on my depth was 1.2 feet underneath us, maybe a bit less. And that just makes me a wee bit nervous. So it was a stressful time. I won't deny that until we got into, 4 or 5 feet. I was like sort of alternating being in gear just on shifters and being in neutral depending on where the water depth was. But we got out with no scrapes and both of our propellers, so that's really good too. So, Aubrey Island, Sunday night, the first day of our adventure. It took us about an hour and a half, and as you've seen from the video, really windy weather and lots of waves, and rather than just really fight it with the engines, I just chugged along at 14 kilometers an hour, and it was bumpy, and we had a stress-filled puppy, really. So, what's up for today? Well, a nice walk around the island, and lots of things for Chloe to chase, and then perhaps an adult beverage. Stay tuned. You know, there's almost an eerie quality to walking through these woods. I don't know what it is. It's, I mean, it's not oppressive. It's not overgrown and thick and full of brambles, but it just has a certain potential for like a Stephen King vibe. So out that way is Gananoque. Obviously we're on Aubrey. Those are swans. That's a house. I have to do a better job of looking at a map and figuring out exactly where we are. This wasn't the plan. We were supposed to be at Beau Rivage, but this was a secondary stop, and if it had been too full here, we would have tried Mermaid Island. Okay, what do you want to tell the kids?
This is a river. This is not a lake. This is not an ocean. This is a river. It's insane.
We both spend a lot of time looking at clouds, and we look at weather apps quite a bit. And unfortunately, overnight and in the morning, the forecast looks like rain. But right now, it's still and it's sunny, and it's just a great time to enjoy being on Aubrey Island.
She saw it.
There it is. This is very cool. Oh, it's injured. It's limping. Yeah, that white piece. Yeah, it's been... Yeah, that'll do. And with that fine meal, a fine libation to finish off a perfect day. Hey everybody, if you like what you saw, click subscribe, hit that like button, tell your friends, and we will see you next time.